Howdy folks, TechTexN here, bringing you Factorio. Now, you've noticed I haven't released a video in a while. That's because a lot has been going on in my life. I just got married, so yes, I just announced that. And now you know why I've been so busy. And there's been a lot more going on as well. There's just been a lot of schedule changes, and also I was working on the Life is Feudal tutorial, but then they came out with another update, and then they had some changes which kind of derailed the tutorial just a little bit. I would have to probably start over to explain a few things. Maybe not, you know, I'll look into it a little bit further and see if that's something we really want to continue. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and introduce this game because I've been playing this for a couple of weeks off and on with the little time that I've been having. And I gotta say, this is a wonderful game, and I'm gonna explain a little bit why. It is fun in the sense that it is fun to play. However, this is a really good game because it helps you exercise logistics. It helps you exercise logic. So for those of you who are looking, you know, all you young people who are looking at jobs in the future, this is a game that will kind of exercise your logic. And logic is really important when it comes to programming. It's important when it comes to managing databases and things like that. And this kind of game, I love it because you have to kind of work to become efficient. Now you're looking at my factory here. I will tell you already right off the bat, it is not efficient, but that's okay because this is really just a sandbox that I was messing with to kind of learn all the ins and outs. So that's why it's all jagged and all over the place. It's not as organized as like a circular belt with a bunch of factories inside, you know, make my assembling machines making all the little parts that I need to do this and that. But I gotta say, this is a pretty cool game so far, and it is multiplayer, so you can play multiplayer with your friends. And in short, you're basically someone who's crash landed on a planet, and you're stuck with just some of the natural resources, and you're trying to get off the planet. And you have to build basically a rocket silo and take a rocket and go into space and get out of there. But you're starting with just base resources. You got your pickaxe, and you have a pistol, and that's pretty much all you start with. And you're given some resources, stuff like stone. Some of these are raw resources. So you got stone, you got iron, you got copper, you got coal for your fuel. And of course they're going to give you some crude oil to work with. Now this game is a good way to kind of show off how, I guess, the assembly line works, you know, and the assembly line made a huge advancement for mankind because, you know, long time ago people just pretty much crafted from raw material to the finished product on their own. You know, they might have a little bit of help, but never really a assembly line per se to mass produce what they needed to mass produce. And since then, it has really changed the way the world works and how we can do things more efficiently. So without further ado, I'll just explain a few of the ins and outs. I'm not going to show off quite everything, or maybe I'll get excited and do it, who knows. But basically, one of the things that you're going to look at is iron. This is going to be probably the biggest amount of raw material you're going to need because you need iron plates for everything. You need iron plates for your transport belts to transport goods from one place to another. You're going to need it for your pipes, for liquid. You're going to need it for your rail because you need steel. In order to make steel, you're going to need your iron plates. So you're going to be using a lot of iron, and also your iron chest and steel chest. Just pretty much anything metal, almost anything metal. Copper is going to be used a lot to make wiring, and anything that involves electronics, you can expect to use copper. So to make your electronic circuits, you're going to need copper cable, and of course to get copper cable you need copper plates, which is all down here. That I kind of have going all over the place, and I finally wised up and figured out, oh, maybe I should just start producing it over here. So again, oh, and these are auto-generated maps, random generated maps, so they're not the same thing every time, so you can try different areas. and you do have an enemy alien, and it's an aggressive alien, and the aggressive alien gets more aggressive. As you can see a little bit of red movement out here, that's actually pollution. They do not like the pollution you're generating, so they're going to attack based on that. Now, I have this set on like the easiest setting, so they're probably not going to attack me at all, so I'm not too worried. That's okay. Of course, you could build cars, and as you can see, you could build trains to get your materials from one side to the other. Now, if I didn't have this set to the easiest setting, I would have run out of material by now, and I would have to find new resources in other locations. I would have to go further distance for my resources, and thus the train would be a lot more useful in that setting. In this setting, it wasn't much useful. I just wanted to use it so I could play with it and kind of tinker with the way the train stops work. You would have to time your train stops, and there's a few other things to work with. I haven't really played with everything quite yet. But I have been looking into it a little bit. One of the coolest things I found is actually the logistics stuff that you can work on later. So you could start to build like these red and green wires, and you can actually network. So with, say, a decider combinator, you can set certain parameters and say, well, when the pipes are less than, I don't know, 20 or 5 or something like that, whenever pipes are less than 5, then output me, a transport belt, and of course you'd have this wired to a chest and maybe assembly machine, whatever. So you would have that set up, and you could even help wire from one area to another using your electric poles. And to keep certain networks separate, you can use a green wire so it doesn't get confused with the red one. So it's a whole lot of fun because you can go from raw material to advanced material and feel like, oh my gosh, I'm able to get this huge assembly line going. I can, here I am building, I'm making sulfuric acid, I'm making sulfur, I'm making batteries to make certain things. I'm using my advanced electronics to make this, and making engines to make these advanced engines down here. So there's a lot that can be done. There's so many little things to work with, and you have this huge tech chart to work with to do all the fancy things you want to do. And of course, there's rockets and tanks and things like that you can build. Still working my way up to it with whatever time I have. And of course, these little robots to help me around. And I've only really barely touched on robots so far. I'm going to be tinkering with them some more to work on construction and things of that nature. So what's really cool is right now for logistics, I have this set to a minimum of 10 inserters in my inventory. If I have any less than 10 inserters, then the robots are going to bring me some inserters from some smart chests I have set out there. Same thing with transport belts, iron plates, and copper plates. Since I use so many iron plates, I started setting this to 500, so they just constantly bring me these iron plates for anything I manually make. So, yes, this is a lot of fun. Take a look at it, and of course you also have the electrical grid you got to keep an eye on. You got to make sure you have enough electricity production going on. It gives you some statistics such as what's using up all your electricity, and of course I'm using electric furnaces because I got tired of working out the coal belts all over the place, so I just said forget it, I'm just going to do all electric, and here I go. I'm pumping out electricity to those electric furnaces to get all my raw material down to the plates. And then of course the science research stations require different type of science packs, and of course I still got to work on getting my other 2 science packs made, so I'm going to have to pretty much redo a lot of this just so I can get that done. And it's really cool. Look into this, guys. It's not even that expensive. I can't even remember how much it was, but it's definitely worth a look. And you'll definitely be looking at this, and like I said, this is a good way to build logic skills, because with logic you can break things down from a simple point to more complex build, so you can get whatever you need done in the most efficient manner. Because the idea is you want to get out as fast as possible, because if you're playing this on regular mode, the aliens are going to be attacking you, and you have to build a defense grid. You don't want to run out of raw materials. You don't want to run out of electricity if you're using laser turrets. You don't want to run out of bullets if you're using gun turrets. So make sure you're staying on top of that when you're trying to protect everything you have. And when you have to spread your factory across larger amounts of area, then you got to worry more about where you're being attacked. So with that said, y'all come back now, you hear? Bye.